You really getting a phone call right at the beginning of the recording?
The Dr. Knizia? Oh my goodness, it's an honor. You love the show. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It's just a nomination. You don't have to cry. No. Your games are better than our podcast. Please.
Oh, hold on. I gotta get this. I'm sorry, Kenny. I'm totally ruining the recording right now. But my phone's ringing, and I mean, you'll understand in a second here. Hold on.
Yeah.
Hey, Scott Alden at BoardGameGeek.com. What are you talking about? I always greet you that way.
Can I do Scott? Like,
yeah, there you go. Oh, thank you. You call every nominee personally to congratulate them on their nomination for the Golden Geek Awards. That's the end of the bit. That's the point of the bit. We're announcing that we won the Golden Geek.
I love that there are people who are like looking at the nomination list. They're like tuning into this episode to like, oh, maybe this is good. I've never heard of them. And this is the shit that they're getting as like their introduction to our show.
Completely unedited too, just raw. Like,
thank you, listeners. Maybe we should start there. Thank you for nominating us. We asked you to, and you came through like super solid. You know, it means a lot. It was kind of unreal to see our name there next to like a bunch of podcasts that I'd like listen to on the reg that I like really respect.
If you found us that way, rats off to you. I'm glad you're here. I hope you have a good time. Yeah, I'm always saying that. We have one of the top 10 most active fan bases on Board Game Geek that has not already won this award.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, we're at least top 16.
Hey, I mean, if we get this, look, we can call ourselves an award-winning podcast, and I'm putting that on my resume. Started an award-winning podcast. How about that? Maybe that'll be motivation for people to vote for it.
We can already start saying we're award nominated.
Oh yeah, that'd be really good. It's like saying like your book is like a New York Times best-selling potential. Like it could have sold enough to be on the list.
I like it. Yeah. Welcome to Shelf's Table, a potentially award-winning podcast celebrating board games that have stood the test of time. I'm your host, Kenny Katayama.
And I'm the other host, Tom Bowers. Today, the feature topic is I'm right, you're wrong, you're stupid, I'm smart, you're small, I'm big.
On my way.
Do you think we could get Mara Wilson on this show?
Oh, hell yeah.
I'm right, you're wrong. Games that Kenny is wrong about and I'm right about, or vice versa. But before we talk about that, let's just talk about some of the stuff we've been playing recently. Kenny?
Mamma Mia! I got to play Mamma Mia from 1998.
Oh.
This is designed by Uwe Rosenberg. Uwe. Is it Uwe?
That's not the song.
Is that what you're trying to do?
Probably. I think I was doing Funicula.
It's designed by Uwe Rosenberg. Published by Abacusspiele. Mamma Mia, I think, is the last remaining neither a polyomino puzzle, nor is it a worker placement where you're raising sheep and farming.
What the fuck?
So we did like Bonanza, we did Bargain Hunter. Mamma Mia is the last one. Again, it's a very early design of his. And this is a memory game. Memory game where you're making pizzas. You have a deck and you are stacking ingredients in that deck face down, and the deck gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And then you're putting completed orders in the deck as well. And you hope that there are enough ingredients placed before that completed order so that you can actually cash those out, discard them, and then complete that order. Because if you put that order in, but there's not those ingredients already in the deck before it, or maybe somebody else put another order that consumed those ingredients, you're boned. You don't get that card. You don't get that points. You have to try to complete that order in a future round. I played this once and it was good. It was a pretty light filler game. If we're talking memory games, I'm definitely more of a proponent of like some of the recent developments like Wilmot's. Yeah, I guess New Game Alert, or like That's Not a Hat, also New Game Alert. I think they explore memory in a way that's like less traditional and also more exciting as far as board games are concerned. But if you want like a game that is literally what you think a memory game would be, that's what Mamma Mia is. The thing that delighted me the most is that all the ingredients are like very distinct, but the olives for some reason don't look like olives to me. Or maybe, you know what? I'm not even going to say maybe. I think I am cooked in this scenario. I don't think it is the game's fault. But I kept finding myself calling them prunes because we would like announce as you put it in, like, I'm putting 3 pepperoni cards, putting 2 pineapple cards, I'm putting 2 prunes in. Mm. People were walking by, they're like, what are they? Are they putting prunes on their pizza? What? It is kind of a mind virus, though, because I'm saying this and then like people who are listening are going to play Mamma Mia and they're not going to be able to unsee it. The olives are very much prunes. You think olive, you think green or you think black. You don't think purple. And it's not that purple is wrong. It's just that purple is not the association. Mm-hmm. This is the real reason I wanted to talk about this game, Tom. So like, if you're going to make comments, this is it.
What?
Do you think olives can be purple? You were doing something. Mm-hmm. I caught you off guard. What were you doing?
You got me. You caught me browsing.
Board
Tom. Games on Board Game Geek. Okay, so the olives are purple. That's the problem.
I'm not saying that it's wrong for olives to be purple.
They should have been green.
That's what I'm saying. When you think olive, you think green, maybe black.
Here's the problem, though. Well, I was going to say, like, the black olives, they have a purplish hue.
No, I know. I understand. But look.
I need to look at images of these game pieces because I'm having trouble picturing it.
Imagine if a game had green bananas in it.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong with that. Bananas are green when they're not ripe, correct? But you would be like, why are the bananas green when they're drawn, when they're illustrated in a game? I'm not saying it's wrong. Like, yes, olives can be dark purple in real life, but you would never depict an olive as purple in the game. Yeah,
it literally looks like pineapple, grapes.
You think it's grapes?
Oranges, snakes, and something else. Yeah, it's like supposed to be a jalapeno, but it's like a very strange shape.
I think the other ones, I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt. Like the other ones are like, they're clearly, okay, I know what that is, you know? Look, I understand why they did it. They already had a green color, which was the peppers. Mm-hmm. And so they didn't want to make the olives, but they want to represent olives because olives are an important ingredient in pizzas. And then black feels like a neutral color. It's probably used for the orders themselves to a certain extent. So I get why olive became purple. I'm just like, there's something visually problematic about it to me. Makes it so that I'm just constantly thinking they're either prunes or grapes.
I think they could have done more for the shape as well. I think that they just kind of got the shape wrong. Yeah. I'm not sure why they didn't go with a sliced olive.
Yeah, why didn't they slice them? I don't understand. Like,
just slice these olives.
Just slice the olives. That fixes the problem. You're totally right, Tom. Just slice them.
They can be purple. Just slice them.
Anyway, the olives looks like prunes. Literally unplayable. 0 out of 10.
Why do they look like prunes? They literally look like grapes.
Prunes, grapes, same thing. That's basically the same fruit.
It's quite literally not, but okay.
You to do a blind taste test, you blindfold me, you give me a prune, a grape, and an olive. I won't be able to tell the difference. They all taste the same.
I think you have COVID.
That was Mamma Mia.
Okay, Kenny, well, I've been playing something else. I've been playing something very different. It's called Gloomhaven from 2017. It's designed by Isaac Childres, published by Cephalofair Games. Gloomhaven, talk about the elephant in the room. I mean, have you tried to pick up a box of Gloomhaven? It weighs as much as an elephant. I think I have played this game over the board once, many aeons ago, but I played it most recently in the digital Steam edition. Because if you know anything about Gloomhaven, it's basically a pre-packaged Dungeons and Dragons campaign, and they probably hate it when you describe it that way.
I mean, I hate it when you describe it this way. let's be honest.
It is also a hand management, card upgrading, like strategy game, legacy game. But I mean, all I can say is, having only played the first ever mission, it feels very inspired, shall we say, by Dungeons and Dragons on many levels.
I get what you're saying, right? But like, that's like saying Skyrim is basically a version of like Rogue. You know, it's like saying Skyrim is a roguelike. People's brains don't compute that if you say that. Do you understand? Like,
I don't think my analogy is that strained. I see where you're coming from.
No, like, yes, there's a dungeon crawling element. That is it.
Yeah.
That's like the only overlap.
Like, you've played Dungeons and Dragons.
I've played 5e.
Right? Okay, but you haven't played pre-5e.
I played 4th.
Okay.
So there's two arguments. The first one is there are things in D&D or in role-playing games in general that are not present in Gloomhaven. Gloomhaven is very mechanism-focused.
Yes.
And then the other argument is Gloomhaven's primary system of interaction is completely different from anything that you have in D&D. Like, they're just different systems.
Well, yeah.
It's like if you were saying that Nemesis was basically the same game as Clank in Space. The only overlap they have is somewhat of a thematic tie-in.
I don't see it quite.
And a little bit of like a noise system.
Well, I'm primarily basing it on vibes. It's like at the end of the day, there's a lot of like hexagon tactics, which were more of a feature in earlier editions of D&D, as I understand it. And then every like attack has a sort of like it has a roll. Not an actual die gets rolled, but a deck of cards gets pulled from that modifies the success rate of what you just attempted to do. And so it's like much less random and more mitigated than certain D&D campaign moments can feel. Mm-hmm. And obviously you can like manipulate the deck and ultimately upgrade and, you know, coerce the deck to do certain things to be more consistent or what have you. But the sort of like the motion of, okay, I move in a position, I attempt an attack, the attack gets a modifier. The fact that like the modifiers can even have advantage where you draw twice and you pick the best one or vice versa with disadvantage. It's also very D&D. And then like you're looting. It's like, okay, the mission is like go in, kill a bunch of dudes and loot their shit.
Well,
I guess like that's all dungeon crawling. It isn't necessarily D&D, but I think like most people are probably familiar with D&D first, but maybe I should have compared it to Descent. It's like Descent if it was good, but I've never played Descent, so I don't even know if I'm being fair.
You've played Imperial Assault though, so.
Yeah, that's true. And even Imperial Assault is like a Star Wars role-playing game. Like it strips away all the role-playing aspects in order to deliver strong, like mechanical combat. It's like it's just very card-driven, card-focused, nitty-gritty. Pull out your calculators, do the spreadsheets, combat shit. You know, where the hexagons matter. Whereas like D&D, especially 5th edition, can feel very loosey-goosey by comparison. Where it's like as a DM, you can literally just kind of be like, yeah, that nat 1 didn't happen.
I think I can get behind you if like you're positing that Gloomhaven evokes the feelings of early role-playing games that were very combat and like the encounter focused.
I think that is what I'm trying to say with it ultimately. For sure. Yeah. It's like if your favorite thing about D&D is the tactics and movement and die rolls, like giving a little bit of suspense, but like hopefully, you know, but mitigating the randomness as much as possible and like, you know, pouring over like what's left in your spell book that you could possibly use to get your ass out of this. That's exactly what Gloomhaven delivers.
Yeah, I can get behind that.
That said, I played this, and it wasn't just me. It was you playing this as well. And in fact, we were playing it kind of communally on Twitch. And I just wanted to mention that people can tune in to the future streams of Gloomhaven.
It was very funny playing it with you because there were definitely some greedy moments. And I was like, Tom, the pacing is very important here, and this might screw us up. And you're like, we'll be good. And we were literally like one card off of finishing the first encounter.
Oh my God. Yeah. Don't remind me. And like I stooped to pick up like a quarter, and it just was like, that was the death knell. Like apparently don't bother with the loose change in this fucking game. Like, cause you will just be like, no.
It is very tight. And I like that. I like that it's not a game that holds your hand too much, because then it just feels like you're like watching a movie to a certain extent. Like you really do have to make decisions.
Yeah. It's kind of like the Dark Souls of D&D now that you say it.
Okay, Tom.
You like that I just went even more cliche?
Are you wanting to play more of it, or are you like me?
I am. I mean, honestly, I want to like redo the mission that we just did, maybe this time with like a health potion just as a guarantee. Mm-hmm. And I obviously, like, when I jokingly called it the Dark Souls of D&D, like the actual insight there is that, you know, Dark Souls is punishing, but the reward is that you died, you lost, but you get to, you know, start over and go again. And again until you get it. And so Gloomhaven has that going for it as well. And especially when you play it in the digital edition, all the admin is abstracted away. You don't really have to think about like, oh, did I do that actually correctly? Was I following this rule? Blah, 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 blah. It's all handled for you, and I really appreciate it. I don't know that I could ever have the patience to actually play this over the board. I could probably sit in for playing it once, but it's a game that is designed to reward repeat play and watch you like build up these characters over time and explore all these parts of the world and have all these interesting interactions. So I'm really curious to see how a lot of those interactive elements end up paying off, because I've heard good things, but I'm curious to see what it actually translates out to as an experience.
Me too. I've played this many times, but I've always basically restarted, whether it be in person with Jaws of the Lion or online with Gloomhaven proper. I've played like the first 5 scenarios like many, many times. And so I would like to get past those first 5 and really explore the game. Yeah. Because I like the system itself, how the cards play and how you get really familiar with your set of cards and learn to leverage them. I feel like I have so much untapped in these games. Here's
to seeing through to potentially whatever the 6th scenario is. And once again, if you want to join us along that journey, you can tune in on
every other Sunday at 10 Eastern. That's 7 Pacific. Next one is on May 3rd.
At twitch.tv/cyberdeck. Links in the description.
All right. We're moving into the train corner, Tom.
Choo choo.
Tom, I got to play Stephenson's Rocket. Stephenson's Rocket is from 1999, and it's by none other than the great Reiner Knizia.
What the hell?
This is published by Grail Games, was the copy we played. I got to play this once recently, and I was the one that requested it. I was like very, very curious because I've heard a lot of good things about Stephenson's Rocket for a while. It's a Cube Rails game made by Knizia. I mean, that's got to be like a match made in heaven for us.
Yeah.
Love Knizia, love Cube Rails. Gotta see what this is all about.
Easily one of the most games of all time for this show.
Yes, it is a very this show game. And it definitely delivered. You know, obviously we're a little biased.
Oh, you don't say.
We're going into it like super, super excited. Like, here we go, you know. It delivered exactly the things that I was hoping it would, in that like it was a very Knizia-like, streamlined, not a lot of rules, very concise, but very thought-provoking game. In terms of like, there's not a lot going on, but you're constantly thinking about how each thing affects each other. And then it also just had the classic cube rails of like, you're investing in this and then it causes this to shift. And it's all deterministic, but the game plays out differently every time. And you got to like figure out how the market's working and use it to your advantage. There's significant differences from other cube rails, because like the other cube rails I've played, it's like, oh, it's the same system, but they made this change. This is like a very different game. You're still laying track, but in a like very abstracted way where you're just like putting quote unquote cubes out. In this game, they actually represent the cubes as like the rail line, which is a little pretty. The difference in this game is that the way that you invest in certain areas is by laying the rail. So instead of having a stock round where you get shares, basically every time you put a cube down, you get a share. So again, this goes back to Knizia, like streamlining or making things like very, very minimalist to a certain extent. You put a cube, quote unquote, down, you get a stock. And that's represented on a track instead of you getting like pieces of paper. The other thing that it does is you can lay down these gates. You can't lay a gate adjacent to an existing rail line. You have to have at least one space apart. But then if you're able to pass a particular train route through that gate, you are now influencing or affecting the scoring in your favor. So you kind of like want to have quote unquote area majority of gates. But to do that, you have to actually be the one steering things into those gates. And then one of the juiciest things that this game has is that every time you go to put down a cube or essentially direct where a train is going to go, any player that has any shares in that particular line can call a veto. Wow. And a veto is basically a one-time bid around the table where you can spend your shares. You can literally go down the share track for that train route to say, no, we're going this direction instead, and take the turn for them. Obviously, it costs you your shares, so you're losing points, you're losing value in doing that. But then you can guarantee that either it goes through that particular gate that you had set up that they're trying to go around, or vice versa, you know, that it doesn't go into a gate that they were trying to go for, and it goes in a different direction. Super confrontational. I mean, we're literally talking about bidding on the ability to like do a person's turn for them.
Yeah.
It's dope. You know, it works and it's like super cool. Sometimes you can just call a veto to like make them pay some of their shares because you know they absolutely want to do it. It's the same as when you like call for an auction in a Cube Rails game. Mm-hmm. So just so that somebody keeps control, like they spend some of their money to keep control. Yeah, you can do mean things like that, which I love that. It's amazing how like so little goes such a long way to make an interesting game.
Yeah.
There's also like a mini game of investing in the stops that the trains make along the way. And every time a different train route connects to that particular spot for the first time, it's going to like pay out to people who invested in it. That's like the x-axis, and there's a y-axis of columns at the end, which is kind of like an area control in terms of which ones you've invested in. Mm. So whenever there's a turn where you don't want to affect the rails, you can just invest in that instead. It's like almost like a pass where you get a little Benny if you're good in terms of speculating.
I feel like that's like such a Knizia moment to be like,
yes.
What if I created two axes along which you score as a points?
Yeah,
that's my Reiner Knizia
It is
impression.
It's very on brand. Thoroughly impressed with this game. Want to play it more. Honestly, want to get a copy for myself.
Ooh.
It's different enough from other Cube Rails that I feel like it's warranted in the collection. Again, I only got to play it the one time, but I came out of it like, yes, you know, it delivered on everything that I expected.
Flawless score on Board Game Geek, 6.9.
Really? Nobody rate it. Nobody rate it.
Well, it's like tomorrow you wake up and it's like 7.0. It's like, no shit. Like right after the episode comes out, I should say. It's very fitting because I was just about to talk about trains, Kenny.
Yeah, Train Corner continues.
Get on the board because we're leaving the station. Kenny and I are officially both train-pilled on this show. And I'm sorry to all of you who maybe were listening to this because I provided a counterbalance to Kenny's 18xx insanity, perhaps. But I've drank that Kool-Aid and I'm gone, baby. I played 18 Chesapeake. This is from 2018, and it's designed by Scott Petersen, published by All Aboard Games. 18 Chesapeake is a recent addition to the 18X series of games, and I'm just going to call it 18X. I don't know how many people are going to get mad that I'm not saying both X's. It's a recent addition, but it ends up in people's top fives like a lot. And it's apparently also one of the most wonderful entry points because, as I understand it, basically takes the original 1830, which is the game that started all of this craziness, and buffs out the weird parts, still manages to leave in private corporations for some reason. You get to experience an 18xx game in allegedly half the time, although for whatever reason, this playthrough did in fact still take us almost 9 hours. So go figure.
It was like a first time for pretty much everyone around the table, so...
Yes, that is true. In general, I'd say either be prepared to spend your entire day playing a game like this or be willing to put everyone on a clock. And if putting people on a clock would be too stressful for them, then they got to, I guess, find a play group that's willing to spend like the rest of their life playing one of these games. Because allegedly it should only take like about half as long as it actually took us for experienced players. But like you said, only one of us in the group had actually played this type of game before.
I've heard from the diehards that Chesapeake takes 2.5 hours. I think that we're getting into the territory of like hypothetical scenario where everybody has a gun to their head. I don't believe that for 1 second. Allegedly,
right.
Allegedly, you can play it in 2.5 hours.
Well, I think like the game, what's interesting about the game is that it features a mechanic that allows you to speed up the end game. You've seen that type of effect in other games, but as I understand it, 18X games in general almost always feature this idea, which is that basically you can push the overall rail industry into the future very quickly. And this can even sometimes be the correct move if you're like in a losing position. You just make everyone's trains suck so much that they literally disappear. I don't know how to explain this game without like getting into what 18X is in general. I'll just say this though, No Pun Included's video I think does it best, where Efka and Elaine basically just tell you a story about what it's like to experience one of these games. And so I'm going to attempt to do the same thing, which is like, sure, it's a game about stock manipulation and railroad operations, but what it's actually about is making like vague deals across the table with your friends until they basically say yes, and then pointing out, even like I did, you can point out in the next round, I think this company is actually not going to be worth keeping around for very much longer. And then your opponent across the table goes, I agree, I'm selling my shares immediately so that I don't get stuck with it. Then you dump all the rest of your shares into the bank. But it turns out that because you dumped all the shares into your bank pool, that now the company actually could just keep doing the thing that it was doing. And now it's making all the money instead of its investors. And suddenly the company is worth buying again, which is very funny. And similar things like that. Intricate dance and flow that comes with this game. And I've been tuning you out for like almost a year now while you've yapped on and on about these games on this show.
At least he's honest.
Well, really, because like it was all abstract to me, but now I've experienced it and I'm like, oh yeah, they're cooking with this. There's
so
something
cool,
to
right?
it. Yeah.
It feels like it should be paperwork, but when you play it, it's like an animal, like it's like an organism. Somehow it all like kind of flows into itself. And maybe it's because it's representative of the thing it's trying to model in a way that like is surprisingly concise.
Nothing else is quite captured.
I'm using the word concise not to be like a synonym for simple.
Of course, yeah. Well, and that's the thing is that like at the end of the day, you know, I think these games get sort of lauded as being like complex. And I think in a lot of ways, there's almost like a gatekeeping business being run for this genre of game. But real, like the concepts are all very familiar. It's literally like you could just rebrand an 18X game and say it's like it's private equity simulator, and instantly everyone understand what it's about, if that makes sense, which is like inflating the value of something by running it into the ground and then dumping it as soon as you aren't getting any profit from it, you know? While that's like obviously not all there is to it, it's a game system really that does it all. And I can see why there's just so many variations. I mean, so many different like types of trains and special powers and different things you can explore. And it's fascinating to me that so many designers have kind of taken a crack at it over the years. I'm honestly surprised Cole Worley hasn't done his, but maybe he has. And it's just one of those print and play ones where you have to steal the pieces from another game.
He has to have worked on one, even if it's not available. I don't think there's one available on BGG or Publish, but I'm sure he tinkered with it.
I'll DM him or something. But yeah, you know, I mean, like Tom Lehman famously is 1846, and I'm most curious about that one next. But of course, 18 Chesapeake apparently has so much in common with 1830. It seems I'm now already overdue for just paying respects to the OG. The things that this game has that I kind of don't like, though, admittedly, is there is a lot of calculus. Like as much as you talk about, like you can talk about the gatekeepingness of the spreadsheetica of these types of games, and that is a barrier for people. I do think it actually does sort of slow down what should be the fun, especially after a certain point. I mean, it's even kind of common practice to just sort of like literal spreadsheet out the end game so that you don't have to waste 30 minutes actually doing it procedurally, just math it out.
Yeah, it can be really fun to play this game online because the auto routing, it already calculates routes for you. And then on top of that, it'll do the spreadsheet just for you. Like you don't even have to like figure out where to go. It'll just have it available in the tool. And that's like wonderful.
That's easily like the most obnoxious part is the route finding, like where you're just like double, triple checking that you found the optimal, like most optimal route that you can. And it doesn't necessarily take that long, but it's like that's where the brain burn, I think, really sets in. And it just seems like I'm a little surprised that no one's figured out a way to have almost all the same systems with slightly more automated math. But maybe they have, and that's, this 18x game. And it's like, and for some reason it just doesn't work somehow,
Right.
Obviously, like this is the system in this modern world of designer games. If there is any form of which that we could compare it to an evolved game, I feel like the 18x system is the thing that is like currently evolving. Like we're probably witnessing one of its earliest, most primitive forms, and it will eventually become some game among the likes of chess.
18 Super Saiyan.
Exactly.
Yeah, I really want to play 1846. Maybe that's the next one we aim for.
I'm surprised you hadn't.
No, I own it. I've read the rules. We've tried a few times to get it to the table, but we have yet to actually do it. It's coming soon.
Coming soon. I guess we know what we're doing this weekend.
That was 18 Chesapeake.
100 games to play before you die.
Award nominated. Before you die.
GoldenGeekAwards.com. All right, Kenny, it's time to talk about the 100 games that you're required to play before you turn 100 years old or whatever the hell else happens. Game number 71 on this list is Magic: The Gathering, the original gangster from 1993. Kenny, why the frick is this one on the list?
Full disclosure, we have had Richard Garfield on the pod. It is like a humble brag, but there's probably a conflict of interest to a certain extent.
Yeah, he has definitely influenced us to put this one on the list because he's not selling enough copies of this game.
Yeah, nobody heard about this one, but because we are acquainted with him, we put it on.
Yeah.
Do I need to explain why Magic is on here? We never shut up about Magic. And I feel like we complain like half the time about Magic. It's like because we like it so much that we complain.
All right, well,
and when I say we, I mean me.
let me put it this way. Why should an average normal person who's 99 years old and about to die play Wizards of the Coast's trading card game? And honestly, how should such a person go about experiencing Magic the Gathering?
That's a good question. So the reason it's on the list, if we want to like be completely transparent, Richard Garfield, acclaimed designer, and then collectible card game, trading card game, however you want to call it. A customizable card game where you build your deck before you play it. To fully experience this list, I think part of it is like actually going and building a deck, probably play it with some kind of entry point, either some starter decks that are designed to be paired against each other, or using Jumpstart. I think Jumpstart is my recommendation as far as how you play this game.
I actually have an almost kind of wild suggestion. Well, I don't know how easily you could go out and find something like this, but you should almost like go to a game store and be like, do you guys have a bunch of junk cards that are worth nothing, that I could take? You need to find a way to get like your hands on a bunch of crap cards and basic lands and just slap them together like they were doing in the 90s.
This isn't the craziest thing you've ever said. I still think it's better to start with like 2 starter decks, but like that's not bad, Tom. I think that does kind of evoke the original feel of like the first time you play Magic.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think it's important to experience this game and not just like playing it, but also kind of understanding why it took off and why there's so much of an appeal in it. I don't recommend getting into the opening booster packs part. That's something that you can like study without actually experiencing it, because especially if you have an addictive personality, you don't want to go down that line. Not to mention, it's really not the way to approach the game, despite what marketing and those greedy people at Hasbro want you thinking. Like, it doesn't add anything, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. It's just there to capitalize on our natural tendencies to want to gamble. Don't open booster packs. Get cards either by buying singles for very, very cheap from a game store, like Tom recommended, or by getting some starter decks, or by doing other types of events or activities with Magic, such as, a casual commander format, or playing a draft, or doing like a pre-release event, or playing somebody's cube. Again, these words might not mean anything to people who are first getting started, but if you get really into Magic, then come back to this and steer away from just buying booster packs. It's dangerous.
Really, I mean, I think the best thing you could do is, if you're someone who's listening to the show and you've somehow managed never to have played Magic the Gathering before, go up to that guy or gal or other person in your friend group, in your game group, and be like, is there a way you and I could play Magic, like, just one time? Like, I'm not looking to get into it, just want to try it one time. Because they will be like, yeah, I thought you'd never ask, and so it's a win-win for everyone involved. You can cross this off your list and then you can go to heaven.
We're very religious.
You only go to heaven if you get all 100. So, but I'm just clarifying that this one's required.
What? You're adding lore upon the lore that we already have.
Yeah. You're going to heaven so you can hang out with Dick Van Dyke, well, once he gets there, but it'll be a while.
You only go to heaven if you play all 100.
All 100 of the games on this list. You can finally hang out with Jimmy Carter and eventually hang out with Dick Van Dyke. Betty White?
You're adding to the canon too?
I'm just trying to think of like people who live to be 100.
All right, that was Magic the Gathering from 93.
Oh, she didn't make it. How she played all the games, though. Okay, well, enough of that nonsense. Whatever kind of fuck all shit we were talking about. Stupid ass stuff. I don't know why I'm swearing this much with it, but you know what? It's time to get into the real meat and potatoes. The main topic of this week's episode. The part of the show that people come back week after week just to listen to. And that's this week. Is I'm right, you're wrong, you're dumb.
No, Tom.
I'm smart.
I'm right, you're wrong.
Oh, okay. I agree.
Or no, am I?
Just kidding.
Am I wrong?
I disagree. Because that's what we're doing. We are playing devil's advocate for each other, but also kind of not actually playing devil's advocate. I'm struggling to come up with a game that I hate that you love, other than Food Chain Magnate.
I have two ready.
Okay, well then you start.
I thought it would be fun to talk about Millennium Blades.
Okay. Well, hold on. Did we explain the premise of this well enough?
Kind of. Okay, there are games that you and I disagree on, where I really like it and you don't, and vice versa.
Right.
I think the idea is for the person who likes it to convince the person who dislikes it. So you did not like Millennium Blades.
I did not.
I would even say you liked it less than the first time when you didn't like it the first time.
Correct.
Well, let's start here. Okay. Why don't you like it?
Way too much for way too little. It's a lot of setup. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of thonking about your turn. A lot of downtime. And then the payoff is what? You kind of got to play a shittier version of Magic? I'd rather just cube draft.
But here's the thing, though. Cube draft doesn't let you like spend paper money to crack open packs. Like we were just talking about how you should never open booster packs because of the predatory nature. But obviously it's appealing to like a core sensibility that like we as humans enjoy. Right. Like we like cracking open that shiny egg and seeing if we got like a super rare, Mm-hmm. And just the fact that you can do that in a game, in a self-contained, like safe environment, mm-hmm. that in and of itself has measure to it. And I don't think there is any other game out there that does that. And I think that's a particularly special. To go back to your thing, like that it's not worth the time and the effort, I can get behind that. I think not for everyone, but like if you're looking for that, this is like a one-of-a-kind experience is what I'm saying.
I can kind of see where you're coming from, but for some reason, while you were talking, my brain just had the idea that what if you could combine 18X games with Cube, like God. Magic Cube? Because I think whatever that is would be a better version of Millennium Blades. Because like if it's an economics...
Turn off the cast. I'll find another co-host next week. I think the 18XX just melted his brain.
My point is, if it's an economic strategy game, Millennium Blades completely fails for that. And if it's trying to give you the thrill of opening a card that's actually amazing or worth $1 bazillion, I feel like it fails to really translate and capture even that experience. Because I'm thinking back to when I played this, and opening the packs was like a pile of dump. Well, maybe I just opened shit packs, and like maybe that's why I hated this game experience. But like, yeah, like what am I pogging for? You know, I feel like the part of the problem is that I know so little about the imaginary trading card game they made up for this game that I don't identify when I've opened like the literal Jace the Mind Sculptor of the Millennium Blades. Well, I guess it's called Millennium Blades. Like that's the name of the fictional trading card game in the game, right?
Yeah. In my experience, you're like junk, maybe junk, maybe. And then you pull a card and you're like, oh, it's coming together. And then you like look back through and then you start to build out a suite of like, oh my God, there's these synergies. Like this is actually going to work. Holy shit. Like this might be amazing. And then you play against everyone else and their thing is cooler than you.
All right, counterpoint though. I think Carl Chudik's innovation literally did that better.
But you don't real-time open booster packs. That's what I'm saying. Like it's a very specific experience.
In innovation, you almost do by going to the next age. It's like you go to the next age, you're like, holy fuck.
Do I think innovation is a better game than Millennium Blades? Absolutely. Like, I'm not going to argue with you there. Like,
checkmate, atheists. Checkmate, Bladesters.
It might not be worth the time and effort for a lot of people, but it does create something different.
Your argument is that like the thing it's doing that's so epic and different is that you are opening semi-random piles of shit to find gold. Sometimes.
Yes. In game.
But that's literally like innovation.
No, it's not.
It's similar.
Innovation is a turn-based game. You're not trying to build a deck while you're playing. You're like building a tableau of 5 cards and using their abilities.
The real-time element of Millennium Blades is so underwhelming. I do kind of think, though, that like if you played Millennium Blades the way that people used to play like 2 booms in a room or whatever, where it's like actually split up in convention room and like there's some physicality to the frantic nature of it. I understand I'm being somewhat ableist in like, you know, creating this environment, but still like something like that where it actually felt like frantic in a physical way, I think would be more interesting. But like, then again, it's just like at that point, just go to fucking Magic Fest or whatever it's called, Magic Con.
Well, yeah, last time we talked about it, you had suggested creating a format in Magic that allowed you to do this, where you open like fake packs and then you like try to build a deck in real time and you have like Monopoly money. And I agree with you. I think that would straight up replace Millennium Blades for me. But that doesn't exist, and I don't want to design it.
Oh, I will design it, and I have the perfect framework to attach it to. It's called 18XX. I don't know if you've heard of this.
Oh my God, Tom. Somebody save his soul. It's not enough to play the 100 games. To go to heaven, you also have to stop creating an 18XX Magic the Gathering hybrid.
You have to stop creating 18XX spin-offs, yeah. 18 MTG, I'm telling you, it's the next thing.
Oh, no.
They could do it for Catan. They can do it for Magic. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Sell your shares in Hasbro. It's going down.
I don't know how we should end these things, but I'll just say, like, I can see your point. But obviously the actual answer for all of these is like people can have fun doing whatever the fuck they want, but it's not going to be me playing Millennium Blades. I won't say you can.
That's how we end each one of these. Yeah. People can have fun doing whatever they want, but it's not me.
I'm trying to think of a game that I really like. I understand that, like, I think the Bowls of Power have their place in Terra Mystica, but I don't want to do that again because we just did that like last week.
We just did it, yeah. Can I propose one?
Yeah.
Do you want to sell me on Splendor and or Ticket to Ride and or Pandemic? Because those are the ones that come to mind.
Yeah. Like, which one of those do I pick on? Because Splendor, like, I'm almost inclined to agree with you, but I guess that could be what's almost interesting about it.
The thing is, I don't even think they're bad games. I'm just like so done with them, and it's gonna, like, I almost want somebody to reinvigorate my passion for them. It's like I want to be wrong.
Well, let me get at you with Ticket to Ride, I guess, because I can kind of see it like a thing with that. It's like I do think that the issue that you've brought up with the Ticket to Ride is that you've had a very linear sort of experience, it sounds, where every game that you've played of it, with whatever the meta game group was, whatever the makeup of the meta game was for you, kept leading to these games where people just sat on infinite card hands until they could just build the dream route, connect San Francisco to New York or whatever the fuck. And
then go.
And allegedly, according to you, trying to rush the small connections to fuck them up for that did not work out in your favor. My only thought to that is that there is one of two things, really, which is that Ticket to Ride is a complete ass game that sucks balls and no one should be playing it. Or you didn't find the correct counter strategy yet.
No, I think it's the second one, right?
Right. And I think that there is joy to be experienced in digging for that counter strategy and going to that next level. Now, I'm not saying that having the patience to actually do that with Ticket to Ride is necessarily worth it to you personally.
You're telling me I'm not smarter than all the Ticket to Ride players in the world.
Well, so
this is a blow to my ego.
But that's what I'm saying. Is the dominant strategy to do what you've described before, where you found the game to be boring?
Let's go further, right? The expected value of drawing from the top of the deck versus the cards that are in the row.
Right.
The top of the deck is random. The cards in the row, you choose.
Yes.
The problem with the cards in the row is that if you take a rainbow train, that is it. You basically have the amount of efficiency that you get for the turn.
Right.
So you either never do that or you do it and you're like costing yourself actions, quote unquote. Whereas you draw from the top of the deck, if you draw a rainbow, you still get your other action.
Yeah.
So that's the advantage from the top of the deck versus the stuff that's out. Other disadvantage from the stuff that's out is that if you take something and then something that you wanted even more comes out, but you've already taken 2 cards, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
So with all this, the way I play is if there's something I absolutely need to complete the number of a color that I need, I will take it from the revealed row. Otherwise, I will always default to drawing from the top of the deck. Because if you're playing this quote unquote long game where you have a huge hand of cards, you're probably going to get what you need anyway because of just the sheer amount of cards you're looking for. You only need to round out the things once in a while with the cards that are revealed. And you're going to have way more action efficiency and way more rainbow cards.
Right, in theory.
The only thing that like gets in the way of this is if somebody starts to assemble routes that are blocking you or getting in the way. But the thing is, you have so many cards in your hand. They've also telegraphed what they're going for, that at a certain point you can just respond. If they place something that's threatening your route, you can just respond and put things and you're still in an advantage. It's kind of like in Llama where like if you draw a bunch, yeah, they could go out, but if they're not able to go out, you are still in a better position than them.
Yeah, I feel like the real thing, though, is that, like, I think of it when we had Aza on the show, and he talked about how, like, I think it was his dad would just, like, claim all those single track routes, like, as fast as possible.
Yeah.
And if people are just locking out the choke points and not even caring about like completing their own objective routes or whatever, you're not going to be able to play that patient game where you're like maximizing rainbow draws. Because
I mean, we probably have to test it out. Like maybe it is the case, it's like a rock paper scissors where somebody playing the game in the quote unquote expected way, where they like try to get their routes and they mix things up, gets beaten by the long-term game of somebody just drawing a huge hand, but they get beaten by the person who just blitzes all the one routes.
Right.
Maybe the one routes is the thing that's missing, because I will admit that's not something that I tried, right? I tried playing faster, but I didn't explicitly just block the choke points.
Yeah, I think like just like taking down like everything that has the smallest number of routes and like making it nearly impossible for people to complete huge routes. It'd be like, what's going on? Because then you're just running up the track with a ton of points, because like you just get in 8 points for building them out.
I have to assume that Alan Moon or someone tested this, like some developer tested this. And even if the choke point strategy is not the answer, that there is some answer that counteracts drawing a big hand. It's just like I've neither tested nor come up with the thing that does it. Well, so maybe, next time someone's like, you want to play Ticket to Ride? I'm just going to do the Bliss strategy.
Yeah, just see how it goes. It's almost like with Catan, how we've come around on the horseshoe and started to almost overglaze it. I think Ticket to Ride is in a similar space where it's easy to dunk on it because it is like baby's first board game outside of Monopoly, but it persists. And I think that there's probably more going on for it than most people give it credit for.
I do think the choke strategy is kind of an aha moment. That is definitely the thing that you said that's convinced me the most and makes me be like, I do kind of want to test that now.
Well, there we go. Boom. We're win 1-0 so far.
So really, Asa wins this one.
Yeah, it's true. Asa's dad.
Yeah.
I will say, though, that with Splendor, I'm not convinced that I could make the same level of argument. Obviously, there's like a ton of Splendor heads out there, but we don't know, honestly, that it has the same caliber of staying power. It's still in print. It's still seeing like a ton of play, I'm sure, on the app, etc. But I don't think it's had nearly the meteoric rise of Ticket to Ride.
Oh, for sure. They're not even comparable. I think the thing with Splendor is there was definitely a moment where I was like, I really like this game. I want to play it more. And then you and I both know the story. Like I got completely inundated with Splendor. And at a certain point, I was like, I don't want to play Splendor anymore. And then there's like a huge dry spell. There's like a huge window where it's just like no Splendor. This creates a weird dynamic where it's like, I don't want to go back to it, but I'm like, when I do, I'm like, oh, it's actually pretty good, but I'm also not wowed by it. I find it almost hard to figure out like what even was attracting me to it in the first place, which is different than saying it's a bad game, right? It's almost like the magic is gone, and I'm trying to remember even what the magic was.
The clickety-clacky of those sweet tokens.
I mean, the feel is nice.
Yeah.
But I'm like thinking about like when you find like your toy collection from when you were a kid and you remember having a good time with it, but you can't evoke those feelings for yourself anymore. That's what it feels like with Splendor. I remember enjoying it, but I can neither pinpoint the specific thing that was enjoyable nor re-experience that for myself. Which is not to say it's a bad game. It's just like it doesn't create that feeling for me.
It's like the third Toy Story up in here all of a sudden. I kind of see where you're coming from. That's sort of how I felt with Century. Like when I first played Century, I was like, this game is poggers. What is this game? It's incredible. And then like the last time I played Century, it had been so many years that I was just kind of like, what was I fucking on about? Holy shit. Not that I hate Century at all. It's totally fine game. But I ended up, it's not in my collection anymore. And it just kind of was.
Now we're just doing games that were ruined for us.
This is pivoting.
Because I'm thinking about your comment about how Gordon Ramsay can't eat at restaurants. We're getting that territory too, you know. I feel like we've played so many games that like to a certain extent we've like been a little numb to some of them. Which is not to say they're not good games, but that like we're not interfacing with them the same way that we used to.
So it's kind of a funny thing that you're saying all this because I've seen there's like this little comic I saw on Tumblr. Maybe I can find it and you can like put a link to it or something, and credit to the artist if we dig it up. was this cute little thing, but it had this moment where someone said, you know what I like to do is just look out, people watch complete strangers and just pretend I'm in love with them. And I'm like, that's almost like what you can do with board games that you've played almost too much of. Just like pretend that you are not.
What are you saying?
Just like pretend you're like that, like 80-year-old parent, like someone who's gonna go nuts for this game.
Pretend you're an 80-year-old parent that loves Ticket to Ride.
Yeah, or just like you've never played these kind of games before, like try and get back almost to that place. I think could be an interesting exercise.
It's funny because you and I feel like we get there pretty easily with most games, but there's just some games that we get hung up on.
Yeah, it could be.
We're not snooty about stuff. Like, that's not our problem. It's just like sometimes there's just a game where we're just like, yeah, I don't know. It doesn't feel that way anymore.
What you're saying is making me really sad because it's making me think of Bionicles. When I was a kid, the Bionicles were like the coolest looking things of all time. And then I've been in a Lego store as an adult and seen first gen and second gen Bionicles. And I'm like, what the shit? Like, why do they look like that? You know what I had you had this experience? Like, I'm just like,
I still have my Bionicle collection, and Josie's been playing with them, right, and they're pretty cool. I don't know what you're saying.
I'm saying like Bionicles like are still cool, and like the amount.
No, I mean aesthetically they're cool. Like they still look cool to me. They give me the same responses that I imagine car people get from like nice cars.
That's weird. I feel like they have a much more like skeletal, like thin, and just like they look so like they look like shrinky-dink skeletons to me now. Not all of them, but just like a lot, especially the early series. And I'm just kind of like, I really like thought this was like the strongest warrior on the planet.
You think Tahu looks shrinky-dink? I think Tahu's dope.
I just think they look like funkier than I recalled. And I don't know what it is exactly. Because like, I still like them. I'm not saying... This
is a Bionicle podcast now, by the way.
Right, I don't even know if I disagree with you about the aesthetic. I just think like they don't look in real life like they looked to me in my mind's eye when I was like 12. I was like, these are something else. And now I just see them for what they are. I'm like, those are piles of plastic.
Well, it's the known fact that you're more of an idealist and I'm more of a realist. Like, I think we can agree on that.
Sure. I'm a dreamer.
Maybe I was already seeing them as bits of plastic, but appreciating them for what they were. Whereas like you had like this rose colored vision and now there's like a disassociation or some kind of like not meeting expectations kind of thing.
Yeah, I think I was almost more hype on like the imaginary world of the Bionicles
Matanui
than like the actual pieces of it. I think I used to imagine that like Pohatu had like guns for hands. Like it wasn't just...
just like very long fingers.
Yeah.
Yeah, his hands do look like guns.
What was that? Were they supposed to be guns? He's the only guy that has like rods sticking out of the hand bits like that.
I think they're just very long fingers.
Okay. He's just doing a rock out pose at all times.
Is Bionicle problematic?
No. Well...
I'm Googling, is Bionicle problematic? Bionicle is considered problematic primarily due to the unauthorized, culturally insensitive use of the Maori language and spiritual concepts in its 2001 launch, which led to legal threats and criticisms from the Maori leaders regarding cultural appropriation.
Whoops.
Christian Faber was the one who created it. They profited off of it, but never acknowledged, consulted with, or did any reparations for the Maori. Then they were sued, and then it didn't go anywhere.
That sucks. That is no good.
Another one in the books.
Sorry, Bionicle. That's where we actually ended up. Bionicle canceled on this show. I don't know how much of this you're leaving in. What was like the point of this? I was just talking about like Splendor. You know, you go back to it after years, and you go,
the magic is gone.
Yeah, it's not there anymore. I don't know though, because last time we played Splendor, I won, and I was like... get dunked.
Oh, I hated that game of Splendor.
That was really fun for me, though.
I don't think anyone was invested, except you suddenly were invested like halfway through, and you're like calculating your turns, and we were just sitting there talking about Minecraft.
They should make us a version of Splendor where like the chips are like something that isn't gems. Like they should make it like candy or something. They should make a pizza ingredients.
Yeah, you can have the prunes in it. I think that Splendor came before there was a lot of like these progression engine builders in my life. And that is something I really, really like in games. And so discovering that, or, you know, starting to work with that was something that was really rewarding. But since then, it's like Splendor just has that. And it you know, your number is just going up in each of the 5 colors. Whereas like other games, they like, it goes to something else. And I think I would always rather do the to something else than just stop there. For me, it doesn't produce like a feeling of minimalism or like conciseness. It's more of just like, I'm doing the thing, but it's so bare bones.
For you, it doesn't capture that Knizia charm where it is stripping away. Instead, it's just overly simple.
It's like an efficiency puzzle without anything else versus like an efficiency puzzle that just focuses on its core and does it delightfully, you know?
I see. Yeah, maybe there's something to it.
What was your saying?
In conclusion, you can have fun doing whatever you want, but it's not going to be me playing Splendor. Like, that's what I think I said.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
I would have fun playing Splendor. If you see us at the next con, invite us to a game of Splendor, you know, the Marvel edition even, because I haven't done that one.
Tom, you want to lead us out? Thank you to everybody that nominated us. It really means a lot.
Yeah, whether you're a shelfie or a slophead, we super appreciate you being on BoardGameGeek.com and nominating us for the Golden Geek. We literally are nothing without you, and that's going to do it for this week. Thank you for listening. I genuinely still don't know how you do it. Thank you especially to Michael, Tyler, Devin, and Josh of the Boise Rainbows for your cool segue music, and thank you to Bonehouse for letting us use the song Rot as our opening theme.
If you're loving the cast, share it with a friend or on Reddit or BGG. You can also reach out directly at shelfstablecast@gmail.com. All of this and more available in the show notes. And if you like what we're doing, want to make more of it happen, consider subscribing on Patreon. You'll get access to that sweet bonus content and our juicy Discord.
I'm mixing it up.
We just do memes now. It's been very meme heavy lately, I feel like.
All I did was make an announcement that people should have a good Tuesday.
All right, that's it. Tom, next week we got a special episode again. Is that right?
Holy shit, you're right. Next week, we have a special guest coming back to us all the way from overseas across the Atlantic to compete in a game of wits. It's a legally distinct version of a popular American TV game show. Family Feud style next
Nailed
week.
it.
Shelf Stable Feud.
Shelfily Shewed.
Shelfily Shewed. We're working on the name, but we'll see you next week for a competition between Kenny and Tom Brewster to tell us what are gamers saying in response to online surveys. We'll see you then.
Yep. Tune in. Bye.
Bye.